So this week we are heading up north. We're going to be exploring the islands just to the north of Mauritius. Our starting point for today's trip is Grand Baie, where we're going to board this magnificent catamaran.
We're on the boat.
So on this particular day, the sea was really rough and it was super windy, which of course made it perfect for doing some windsurfing and some wing foiling. And what's the weather predictions for this weekend? Is it meant to be very windy?
Yes, it will be quite windy today. So it will be around 24, 30 winds today. So it will be very good to have some kitesurf.
And I can't express how wonderful it is to be able to wing foil off the back of a boat. It's just truly something very special, and these trips always stay with me for a very long time because they are so unique. Having a casualty with Matt's 4 is having to go on a 3.3 now. It's an issue with the bladder. Pretty windy, I tell you what, but wow, lovely to be back on the boat. So what's for lunch today?
So today we have some quiche and some salads.
Nice.
Easy,
Sounds
just for the lunch.
See, that's Coin De Mire, just over there. So time at last for some exploring, and we're on our way towards Coin De Mire. And this is about an hour and a half to 2 hours from Grand Baie. Quite something. Look at this. So if you take a look at the map, you'll see that the islands are Coin De Mire, then there's Gabriel Island, Île Plate, also known as Flat Island, Serpent Island or Snake Island, Round Island, and also Pigeon Island. Now what's rather confusing and a little bit interesting too is that Round Island is not round, Snake Island does not have snakes, and Pigeon Island, well, doesn't look anything like a pigeon. So in fact, if you want to find snakes in Mauritius, also known as boas, those you'll find on Round Island. So yeah, it is extremely confusing. What's really good to note as well is that all of these islands are protected. They are nature reserves. So you can't actually go on Coin De Mire. It's very difficult to anchor off there, and it's very steep, so it's very difficult to get on there anyway. You can, however, go onto Flat Island and also Gabriel Island, Round Island, Snake Island, and Pigeon Rock is really good for diving if you want to go and dive for sharks. In the rough and windy conditions, some of us were feeling a little seasick. No ways that we could stop anywhere near Coin De Mire, so onwards we went towards Flat Island.
The waves are so big. They look really small, they're not.
And it's quite tricky to actually get on the island. We had to go onto the rubber dinghy and time it quite well because there were a lot of waves.
When I go and I say go, you jump. Go.
Go, go, go. Wow, that was interesting, but we made it.
Well done, guys. But once you're on Flat Island, it is spectacular. Pretty amazing to be here all by ourselves. I mean, these beaches are pristine. It really is a nature lover's paradise. We gotta run. Our ride's coming back. We're heading back onto our boat. But one amazing place The other cool thing about Île Plate, or Flat Island, is that it has a lighthouse. In fact, it has one of the 4 lighthouses that can be found in Mauritius. The most famous of these lighthouses would be the one on the west coast in Albion, but this one here is pretty special too, and in fact Flat Island has quite some history. In the 1850s, the British settlers put Indian slaves here as a quarantine island. So basically, if they thought that any of the slaves were sick, they were quarantined here with the idea that disease would not spread to mainland Mauritius. So on this island, not only do you find the lighthouse, but you can also find a few little houses and things where these British settlers and Indian slaves would have lived.
We're walking to swimming.
If you're into water sports like snorkelling and diving, Pigeon Rock is great if you want to dive with some sharks. There's great snorkelling around Coin De Mire as well, and Gabrielle Island, you are more than likely going to come across a turtle.
Okay, we're heading back out of here, saying goodbye to Flat Island and heading back towards Perry Bay,
which is a much more sheltered bay, and that's where we stayed for the night. And it was just quite spectacular waking up the next morning in this beautiful bay. And once again, we're on the move. The wind is up and we're heading slightly offshore for some more wing foiling.
wind looks good.
Whoa, no, the swell dance. Whoa, dance, 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 dance.
We had so much fun. I don't wanna lose your love. I've been wishing on the stars above. If I go back in time for enough, I know that I would find you.
There's a storm brewing. That Coin De Mire looks like it's completely covered.
And wow, just an absolutely amazing trip. I can't recommend it more.
I don't wanna lose your love. I've been wishing on the stars.
Here comes the rain.
So if you're here on holiday or you're living here, definitely you've got to explore the Northern Islands because they really are so beautiful, and the fact that they are protected islands is fantastic for all those nature lovers. If you'd like to hire this catamaran, then you absolutely can do so. I will leave a link in the description below so that you can find out pricing for this magnificent boat. Also, if you're thinking of coming to relocate to Mauritius, I have partnered up with a relocation specialist, and he deals with all things related to visas, property, schooling, concierge, setting up a business, all those kind of things. He can help you. So if you'd like me to steer you in that direction, do pop me an email. And of course, I love coffee, and if you buy me a coffee, you are directly helping support this channel, and it just really helps me to keep on making this content for you. So that's it for this week, and I will catch you on the next one. See you very soon.